There are moments in life that split your world in two, a before and an after. For me, that moment happened on a Friday evening in October, standing outside my own living room with a bag of cold Thai takeout in my hands. I could hear my fiancée Amber talking to her best friend Jenna inside. When I heard my name, I stopped. What came next made my heart drop into my stomach. Her voice was casual, almost dismissive, as she said the words that would end everything between us. I am just not attracted to him anymore. I stood there, frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe, as the woman I was planning to marry told someone else that she did not want me. But she was not done. She kept talking, and every word was another knife. I had come home early to surprise her. Instead, I got the surprise of my life. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like button if you have ever felt completely blindsided by someone you trusted with your whole heart. And subscribe, because this story has a twist you will not see coming. I promise you the way this ends will leave you speechless. To understand why those words cut so deep, you need to know how we got here. You need to know about the life I thought we were building together. I met Amber 2 years ago at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. It was one of those perfect autumn mornings where the air smells like rain and fallen leaves. I was working on my laptop in the corner trying to debug some code for the startup where I worked as a software engineer. She was carrying too many things at once, a portfolio tucked under one arm, her phone in one hand, and a large coffee in the other. You can probably guess what happened next. She tripped over absolutely nothing, and her coffee went flying. It hit my laptop screen, and for a split second, I thought my entire project was ruined. But when I looked up and saw her face bright red with embarrassment, her hands covering her mouth in horror, I could not be mad. She was beautiful. Dark hair pulled back in a messy bun, green eyes wide with panic, wearing paint-splattered jeans and an oversized cardigan. She started apologizing so fast I could barely understand her. I laughed. I actually laughed. My laptop was fine. The coffee had mostly missed it. And somehow, in the chaos of her apologies and my reassurances, we started talking. She was a graphic designer working freelance, mostly doing branding for small local businesses. I told her about my job, and we discovered we both loved hiking indie music and had strong opinions about the best breakfast spots in the city. By the time we left that coffee shop, 3 hours had passed, and I had her number. Our first real date was a hike up to Multnomah Falls. She showed up in brand new hiking boots that she admitted she had bought just for this. By the end of the trail, she had blisters on both heels, but she never complained once. We sat by the waterfall eating sandwiches I had packed, and she told me about growing up in a small town in Oregon, about her dreams of opening her own design studio someday, about how she had always felt like she was meant for something bigger than where she came from. I told her about my family, about losing my dad when I was 19, about how coding became my way of making sense of a world that felt chaotic. She listened like every word mattered. That day, sitting beside her with the sound of rushing water in the background, I thought to myself, this is it. This is the person I have been waiting for. The next year and a half felt like a dream. We went to concerts at small venues where the music was so loud you could feel it in your chest. We spent Sunday mornings at the farmer's market buying fresh flowers and trying samples from every booth. She would drag me to art gallery openings, and I would drag her to tech meetups. We balanced each other. She made me more spontaneous, more willing to take risks. I made her more grounded, more practical. At least that is what I thought. Everyone said we were perfect together. My mom adored her. My friends loved having her around. And I loved her. God, I loved her so much it scared me sometimes. So 3 months ago, I planned the proposal. I rented a small cabin up at Mount Hood, a place with floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out over the snow-covered peak. I woke up before sunrise, made her favorite breakfast blueberry pancakes with real maple syrup, and set up everything on the deck. I had bought the ring 2 months earlier. It was simple, elegant, just like her. A white gold band with a 1-carat diamond, nothing flashy, but it had cost me 3 months of salary. I did not care. She was worth it. When she walked out onto that deck in her pajamas, rubbing sleep from her eyes, and saw me on one knee with the ring in a handmade wooden box I had crafted myself, she cried. She said yes without hesitation. We held each other as the sun came up over the mountain, and I remember thinking this was the happiest moment of my entire life. I thought we were building something permanent, something real, something that would last forever. But then things started to change. It was subtle at first. About 2 months ago, Amber started staying late at work more often. She said she had picked up extra projects that a few clients needed rush jobs. I believed her. Why would I not? She was ambitious. That was one of the things I loved about her. But then the physical side of our relationship started fading. We went from being intimate several times a week to maybe once every 2 weeks, then not at all. Every time I tried to initiate anything, she had an excuse. I am exhausted, she would say. Or not tonight, I have a headache. Or simply, I am just not in the mood. I tried not to take it personally. I told myself it was stress, work stress, wedding planning stress, life stress. Everyone goes through phases like this, right? Then about 6 weeks ago, she started pulling away in other ways. We had plans with friends for a double-date dinner, but she canceled last minute, said she was not feeling well. The next weekend, I suggested we go see a movie we had both been excited about. She said she was too tired, but I noticed she was still active on social media, posting pictures from girls' nights out with Jenna and other friends, laughing in photos at bars and restaurants. She had energy for them, just not for me. I started feeling paranoid. Was I being too needy? Too clingy? I tried to give her space, but the distance between us kept growing. About a month ago, wedding planning became a nightmare. We had set a date for next June, just 8 months away, and we needed to make decisions. But every time I brought up venues or catering or invitations, Amber would shut down. Let us wait a bit, she would say. Or, I am not sure yet. Or, do we really need to rush this, I suggested. Maybe we should talk about what was really going on, but she would brush it off. Tell me I was overthinking things. Tell me everything was fine. But it was not fine. I could feel it in my bones. Something was fundamentally wrong, and she would not talk to me about it. Then 3 weeks ago, I noticed she stopped wearing her engagement ring at home. She said it was uncomfortable when she was working on her computer, that the diamond caught on things. She only wore it when we went out. At first I tried to be understanding. Maybe it really was uncomfortable. But it hurt. It felt like she was trying to forget she was engaged, when it was just the two of us. I did not say anything because I did not want to seem controlling, but inside I was breaking. I kept telling myself that every couple goes through rough patches, that we would get through this, that love was supposed to be hard sometimes. But deep down I knew something felt fundamentally, irreparably wrong. That brings us to Friday, the day everything fell apart. Or maybe the day everything finally made sense. I got off work early. My team had finished a major project ahead of schedule, and my boss told us to take off at 3 instead of staying until 9 like usual. I was excited. I thought maybe this was the perfect opportunity to reconnect with Amber. I decided to surprise her. I stopped at her favorite Thai restaurant and picked up pad Thai spring rolls and mango sticky rice, her comfort foods. I drove home humming along to the radio, completely oblivious to what was waiting for me. It was around 6 in the evening when I pulled up to our apartment building. I parked on the street and noticed 2 cars in our assigned spots, Amber's gray sedan and Jenna's blue hatchback. I smiled. Girls' night. Maybe I would join them for dinner. Make it a fun evening. I grabbed the takeout bag and headed inside. I unlocked the door quietly, not really thinking about it, just my usual way of entering. As soon as I stepped into the hallway, I heard voices coming from the living room, Amber and Jenna. They were talking, and I was about to call out that I was home when I heard Jenna say my name. Something in the tone made me freeze. I stood there in the hallway, hidden by the wall that separated the entryway from the living room, and I listened. So, have you told Eduardo yet? Jenna asked. There was a long pause. Then I heard Amber sigh. No, not yet. My heart started beating faster. Told me what, girl, you cannot keep doing this, Jenna said. It has been months. I know, Amber replied. Her voice sounded tired. I am waiting for the right time. The right time for what Jenna pressed. To break off the engagement, the takeout bag crinkled in my hands as I gripped it tighter. My knees felt weak. Break off the engagement. Yeah, Amber said so casually, it made my stomach turn. I cannot marry him, Jen. I am not attracted to him anymore. The world tilted. I leaned against the wall for support, my mind racing. Not attracted. What did that even mean? We had been together for 2 years. We were engaged. We were supposed to get married in 8 months. How long had she felt this way? But she kept talking, and every word was worse than the last. It is like, Amber continued, when we first met. I thought he was cute, stable, responsible, good on paper. There was a pause. But Jenna prompted. But now when he touches me, I just feel... Nothing, Amber said. Sometimes I cringe inside. Is that terrible? My chest felt like someone had reached in and squeezed my heart. Cringe. She cringed when I touched her. That is honest, Jenna said carefully. But Amber, he proposed 3 months ago. You said yes. I panicked. Amber's voice rose slightly. We had been together almost 2 years. Everyone was asking when we would get engaged. My mom kept hinting, and I thought maybe the feelings would come back. Did they? Jenna asked. No, Amber admitted. If anything, it has gotten worse. I dread coming home. I make excuses not to, be intimate. I cannot even look at the wedding planning stuff without feeling sick. I felt like I was going to throw up. All those excuses. All those times she said she was tired or had a headache or was not in the mood. It was all because she could not stand the thought of being with me. Then why are you still here? Jenna asked. I heard Amber let out a heavy sigh. Because breaking up is complicated. We live together. We have shared accounts. My name is on the lease. And honestly, where would I go? I need to figure things out first. Save up money. Find a new place. My hands were shaking now. She was using me. Using me for stability, for a place to live, for financial security, while she figured out her exit strategy. So you are just using him, Jenna said, and I could hear the judgment in her voice. I am not using him, Amber said defensively. I am just waiting for the right time to leave. When I have my ducks in a row, he will be fine. He has got a great job, tons of savings. He will bounce back. Something inside me snapped, not in an angry way, in a clear way. Like suddenly everything made perfect sense. She did not love me. Maybe she never had. I was convenient. I was stable. I was safe. But I was not wanted. And she was going to keep stringing me along until she had everything figured out for herself. Well, if she was waiting for the right time, I was about to give it to her. I straightened up, took a deep breath, and walked into the living room. Amber and Jenna were sitting on the couch, wine glasses in their hands, looking relaxed and comfortable. The moment I stepped into view, both of them froze. Amber's face went completely white. Jenna's eyes went wide as saucers. Hey, babe, I said, my voice steady and cold. Hey, Jenna. Eduardo, Amber stammered, nearly dropping her wine glass. You are home early. I did not. How long have you? Long enough, I said simply. The silence that followed was deafening. You could have heard a pin drop. Jenna looked like she wanted to disappear into the couch. I should go, Jenna said, starting to stand up. No, stay, I said, looking directly at her. You have been a good friend, giving her advice. You should see how this ends. I turned my attention back to Amber. Her eyes were filling with tears, her hands trembling. You said you are waiting for the right time to leave. Right, I asked. Eduardo, let me explain. Amber started, but I held up my hand. No need. You have explained plenty. You are not attracted to me. You dread coming home. You cringe when I touch you. You are only here because it is convenient. It is not like that. She tried again. It is exactly like that, I interrupted. And you know what? I will not keep you prisoner in a relationship you do not want. I walked over to the coffee table and set down the bag of takeout. The bag she would have happily eaten while lying to my face. The right time is now, Amber. Her face crumpled. Tears started streaming down her cheeks. What? What do you mean? she whispered. I mean, we are done, I said clearly. Consider the engagement off. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the simple gold band I had been wearing since the proposal. I set it on the table next to the takeout bag. I will sleep at my buddy's place tonight. You have until Sunday evening to pack your things and leave. Take whatever is yours. I will handle the lease. Jenna sat there staring at me with her mouth open. Amber was sobbing now. Eduardo, please, can we just talk? She begged. Talk, I said, and I could not keep the bitterness out of my voice. We could have talked months ago when you started feeling this way. Instead, you lied. You faked it. You used me as a safety net while you figured out your next move. I turned toward the door. Where are you going? Amber cried. Away from someone who does not want me, I said. I looked back at her one last time. Good luck finding that right time, Amber. Looks like it found you first. I walked out of that apartment, got into my car and sat in the driver's seat. Only then did I let myself feel it. My hands were shaking. Tears finally came. But underneath the pain was something else. Relief. Pride. I had stood up for myself. I had not begged. I had not let her gaslight me or make excuses. I had taken control of a situation where I had been powerless. I started the car and drove away from the life I thought I was building. I ended up at my best friend Marcus's apartment. Marcus and I had been roommates in college, and he was still single living in a loft downtown. When he opened the door and saw my face, he did not ask questions. He just stepped aside and let me in. We sat on his couch drinking beers, and I told him everything. Every word I had overheard. Every moment of that confrontation. When I finished, Marcus shook his head. Bro, that is brutal, he said. But you did the right thing. You deserve someone who is crazy about you, not someone who is settling. That night I stayed up late processing everything. I did not feel guilty. I did not feel regret. I felt relief mixed with sadness. Sadness for what I thought we had, but relief that I would not be spending the rest of my life with someone who did not want me. My phone buzzed with texts from Amber. Multiple messages. Please call me. I am so sorry. Can we please talk? I blocked her number. I slept better that night than I had in months. Saturday morning I went back to the apartment with Marcus for backup. Amber's car was gone. She had stayed at Jenna's. On the kitchen counter I found the engagement ring with a note written in her handwriting. I am sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I will be out by tomorrow. I picked up the ring and put it in my pocket without any emotion. Marcus and I walked through the apartment. She had already started packing. Boxes were stacked in the bedroom. I called the landlord and explained the situation. He was understanding and agreed to let me change the locks. That afternoon I went to the bank and separated our joint account. I removed her from the shared credit card. I updated all my emergency contacts. Then I called the wedding venue and canceled the reservation. I got half the deposit back. I informed my mom, who was supportive, and told me I deserved someone who chose me every single day. I called a few close friends and told them what happened. Everyone was shocked, but everyone was supportive. By the end of the day, I felt exhausted but empowered. I was taking control of my life. Sunday came. Amber texted me from a new number, Jenna's phone. Coming to get my stuff at 2 in the afternoon. I made sure I was not home. I gave Marcus the new key and asked him to supervise. He reported back later. Amber had come with Jenna and Jenna's boyfriend. She took her belongings quietly, cried the whole time, and kept asking where I was. Marcus told her I did not want to see her. She left a letter on the counter. I read it when I got home. It was full of apologies and excuses. I was confused. Maybe we can be friends someday. I threw it in the trash without responding. The following weeks were a process. I threw myself into work, picking up extra projects and staying late. My coworkers noticed I was quieter than usual, but no one pried. In the evenings, I went to the gym. I cooked meals for myself. I reorganized the apartment. I took down every photo of Amber and redecorated slightly, making the space feel like mine again. Amber kept trying to reach out through mutual friends, but my message was consistent. I had moved on. In the second week, I started seeing a therapist. Talking to someone helped me process the betrayal. My therapist told me something that stuck with me. You loved someone who was not who you thought they were. That is not your fault. I started to realize the red flags had been there. I had just ignored them because I wanted so badly to believe in what we had. By the third week, I was reconnecting with old hobbies. I picked up my camera again and went on a solo hiking trip to Crater Lake. Just me, my camera, and nature. I felt peace in the solitude. I was not rushing to date. I was not bitter. I was just moving forward one day at a time. About a month after everything ended, I ran into Jenna at the grocery store. It was awkward, but she approached me. "Eduardo, I want to apologize," she said. "I should have told her to be honest with you sooner." "You were being a good friend to her," I said. "I get it." Jenna hesitated, then said, "For what it is worth, she is miserable. She realized she made a huge mistake. That is her journey to figure out," I replied. Jenna looked uncomfortable. She asked me to ask if you would be willing to talk. "No," I said gently but firmly. "Tell her I wish her well, but that chapter is closed." Jenna nodded slowly. "You are handling this better than most people would. She did not deserve you." "Maybe," I said, "but I deserve better than what she gave me." Before she left, Jenna told me Amber was struggling financially and had moved back in with her parents, that she had lost the freedom she thought she would gain by leaving, that she realized too late what she had. I felt nothing. No satisfaction in her suffering, no vindication. Just neutrality. I did not end things for revenge, I told Jenna. I ended them for self-respect. And that was the truth. 3 months have passed since that Friday evening. The apartment feels like mine now. I bought new furniture, hung up different art, and filled the space with things that make me happy. I got a promotion at work. My focus and dedication paid off. I am closer with my friends and family than I have been in years. I have started dating casually. I met someone named Sarah, an architect who shares my love for design and hiking, but I am taking things slow. I have learned my lesson about ignoring red flags, about the importance of communication, about never begging someone to stay who wants to leave. Physically and emotionally, I have changed. I lost 15 pounds in a healthy way. The gym became my therapy. I grew a beard, started dressing differently. New look, new chapter. I am more confident now. More selective about who gets my time and energy. I do not check Amber's social media anymore. I have genuinely moved on. I heard from mutual friends that she is still single and struggling. That regret is eating her alive. I do not take any pleasure in that. I genuinely hope she finds what she is looking for, even if it was not me. I have learned that love should never feel one-sided. That attraction matters, but so does respect and honesty. Being good on paper is not enough. You cannot force someone to want you, and you should never have to. Self-respect will always be more important than comfort. Sometimes the trash really does take itself out. The right person will never make you question where you stand. The hardest part was not the breakup itself. It was realizing how long I had ignored my gut instinct. It was accepting that I loved someone who did not love me back the same way. It was learning to trust again. But I have grown from this. I am grateful it happened before the wedding. I am grateful I overheard that conversation instead of marrying someone who had already checked out. I am grateful I had the strength to walk away with my dignity intact. If someone tells you they are not attracted to you anymore, believe them. Do not try to change their mind. If someone is waiting for the right time to leave, save them the trouble. Your dignity is worth more than any relationship. The moment I walked into that living room and said the right time is now, I took my power back. Her shock was everything, not because I wanted revenge, but because I finally chose myself. I do not know what the future holds. Maybe I will meet someone who chooses me every single day, or maybe I will be happily single for a while longer. What I do know is this: I will never again settle for someone who sees me as a placeholder. And honestly, that is the best lesson a broken engagement ever taught me. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you turns out to be the best thing that could have happened. You just have to be willing to walk through the fire to see it. So let me ask you, Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved because they did not love you back? Drop a comment below and share your story. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to hear more real stories about life, love, and learning to choose yourself. And please share this with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you deserve someone who is absolutely certain about you. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember, your worth is not determined by someone else's inability to see it.